Okay, my name is Jason Catalan. This is my last speech, relationship. The relationship I had with my wife in the beginning of the semester is always honest in general. My motto has always been honesty is the best policy with my wife. Everything I told her truthfully as best as I can possible, but sometimes it would fall on deaf ears. Then I would think I'm being ignored. None of my old style of communication would work on her. Sometimes I would call her and she would answer but not say anything. Now that I have learned communication climates, its concept and categories, I now know the key ingredient, skills, and understanding of how interpersonal relationship can be applied to everyday life. Tonight, I will discuss nonverbal communication, emotional contagion, questioning, face-threatening acts, and conflict. Nonverbal is a category that is always in my relationship with my wife. Nonverbal is a type of communication that do not use vocal speech words. We both sometimes are nonverbal, especially after coming home from work. Through traffic, we both either aggravated or tired and not use vocal words to communicate. This is when mediated communication come into play, like texting, sending messages to each other. We both have the same goals of trying not to respect one another after a long day from work. Now that I've explained nonverbal, I will now discuss emotional contagion. My wife would always get affected by an emotion from a movie or an award show. Since emotion contagion is a type of an emotion passed from one person to another. So when my wife sees a very sad or dramatic scene in a movie, she would get easily affected by it. I would often just ignore her unless it is something respectively serious. Now that I've explained emotional contagion, I will now discuss questioning. Asking a question to a statement, a technique in asking about the speaker's statement. An example in my relationship is when my wife would criticize a movie's ending. She would always make a statement about changing the movie's ending should be. This is when I would question her about why or how she would think that would make the movie even much better. Now that I explained questioning, I will now discuss face-threatening acts. Face-threatening acts is tarnishing someone's image and it can change that person's identity. Face-threatening acts is when a person's character, reputation, image is threatened by another image. An example of this is with my wife is when she tried to tell my kids that I'm not a good provider because I would not buy her a diamond ring. But my kids know we are poor and can't afford it. I know she was just joking because she's the person to whom I give money to pay half of the rent. Since we both are honest, in our financial situation, we both can have the same goals of ignoring materialistic image and to just have a normal, simple life. Now that I explained face-threatening acts, I will now discuss conflict. For me, this should be avoided in any type of interpersonal relationship. Between me and my wife, when we both have different ideas, when this happens, I would let her have the final decision after I presented mine. I always respect her decision because this helps with resolving conflict much faster to avoid a spiral. In conclusion, the nonverbal, emotional contagion, questioning, face-threatening acts, and conflict can be held together or counter the negative aspects of each through respect. And the areas I want to continue to refine after the class is over is questioning, because this part always occurs when we go watch a movie that is within my wife's standards. And the area I struggle is emotional contagion because I'm not much of somebody that would ask to change how they get affected by a passed down emotion. So life lessons, bigger picture is seeing the way interpersonal communication are described in concepts and categories and gaining more skills to interact with my wife respectively. Thank you.